able to tell if it makes sense or not.
So I know you don't personally track his wealth, but we certainly have as a company. And how's he doing right now on that front, fundraising, etc.?
So we've got his net worth is holding steady at $3 billion is what he came into the White House with, and it went down. But by the time he left the White House, it was also at about $3 billion, we estimated. It's gone up $600 million since he left the White House. So he's doing pretty well. We're actually working on a new calculation for that recently. So we'll have more to report on that soon. He famously fell off the Forbes 400 list, but that wasn't because he lost money in so much as that other people just made more and hurdled him.
So that 600 million, is that mostly from fundraising, or is it the health of his
that
hotels?
That would be separate. I mean, the only way that's his personal wealth. The fundraising does get back to him. I think right now we've seen the candidates he's endorsed have dropped over $100,000 this cycle at Trump properties, and his own PAC has certainly done a lot of business at Trump properties, but that is just based on his, the Trump organization and not any political committee.
Let me step back and ask about the future in terms of, do you foresee an instance where Trump will not be able to run in the next election because of this?
No. I mean, a lot has been said online about that law that he signed that precludes people from running from office, but the Constitution doesn't list that as a criterion. The Constitution is what matters. So it's not gonna come up. And that also depends on whether he'd even be convicted of this. We've got all those cases that we're tracking, the 36 of them. He excels at playing the legal system and stretching things out. We saw that today when he took the fifth. He took the fifth after postponing that deposition, saying he couldn't do it because Ivana had passed away, postponing it. He probably knew all along he was going to take the fifth, but why tell them you're going to take the fifth in February when you can do it in August? And we're seeing that throughout all of these cases. Now, none of them are criminal charges at this point. They're all civil, so it's a bit of a different system, but he excels at working the system. And then, so even if criminal charges were to get brought against him, which again is big hypothetical, as he famously pointed out, he could shoot somebody in the middle of Fifth Avenue and get away with it. You're finding, I think it's like 40-something% of Republican primary voters said that they would vote for him in a contested GOP primary right now. What are your odds of getting a jury that doesn't have any Trump supporter on it in this country? Very small.
Most of us are used to seeing, when you've got FBI emblazoned across your chest and they're going into your house, there's usually some consequences for the person whose house they're entering. You don't think that's going to be the case now?
I don't think most people who get raided by the FBI are Donald Trump. They're not former presidents. They don't have all of that legal backing. They don't have that much experience with the legal system, and they haven't played it that well. And they also don't have a large portion of the country that is willing to follow them no matter what. So I think that makes it very difficult.
So when we're looking at step back from this, since we've got 36 cases, what else is coming up on your radar? This has been a huge one, of course. But is there anything else that you're looking to as in some ways emblematic of what's next for Trump or the Trump family?
Well, the one that I think could do him the most damage personally is the SEC investigation into DWAC, which is the company that was going to merge with his new True Social. They just announced last week that they were looking to postpone a vote on the merger because they are under investigation by the SEC for allegedly talking about this deal before they were allowed to do such a thing with True Social. Like when they form a SPAC like that, they have to wait a certain period of time before they can start seeking a company to merge with. And there's evidence out there that they did not wait that period. If that were to go through, it would certainly hurt him financially. He's got a pretty big vested stake in that. So there would be some consequences that way. But I think that's the one that seems to be the most likely to lead to some problems for Trump. But again, it's a few $100 million, and we have this guy estimated net worth at $3 billion.
So you're a betting man, and you're betting he's going to be on the radar for a while, and that this is not rhetoric. Our Trump is very much interested in running for office yet again.
Yeah, I am a betting man. I'm also a man who is not cashing tickets often. I used to live in Kentucky and I did not go back to that window at Churchill Downs often. So take this for what it's worth. I mean, you and I started the same day at Forbes. I was thinking back to that when I was prepping for our conversation. I thought Trump coverage would be about 10, 20% of my job at that point. And, it's 80, 90%. So I was wrong on that. But I think he's here to stay. He's certainly proven that time and time again. He's came back from the dead after his real estate issues and hotel problems. And then when he got picked up by American pop culture with The Apprentice, and that kind of faded. But then he got picked up by the Republican Party and GOP. And that seemed like it was fading after January 6th, but then he got them to pick him up again. So I don't think he's going anywhere.
One